Greetings, wizardlings. I'm Balthazar, I'm a root worker, I'm a medium, and I am a Solomonic magician. And today I'm going to teach you how to make a powerful Kabbalistic Mojo bag. So if you've been watching my channel, you will know by now that my style of spiritual work is very much inspired by the grimoires, and what I like to do is to dovetail the technology of the grimoires, the technology of the Solomonic tradition with that of the hoodoo tradition to create a synthesis that is powerful and spirit-centric. One of the reasons that I like to do that is that because spirit-driven spell work tends to be very potent, provided that you come at working with the grimoires in a common sense way. And this is very much what this work, these techniques that I'm sharing with you are geared to do. I'm sharing an accessible way of working with the technologies given in the grimoires in a practical way, in a folk magical style that anyone can access. So today we're going to be doing a Solomonic or Kabbalistic Mojo bag, and a Mojo bag is of course a talismanic object designed to attract a particular outcome, and in this case we're going to be doing some money magic. We're going to be creating a wealth bag created under the aegis of the sphere of Jupiter and the angels and the spirits of Jupiter. So to that end, we will be using the Tablet of Lights. I will link a video down below where I give a more thorough introduction to the Tablet of Lights, but very briefly, it's a ceramic surface such as a pizza plate or a tile on which we will inscribe the various sigils, pentacles and holy names and so on using liquid chalk marker. So that's the first thing that you will need to do this work. You'll need to find yourself a ceramic plate of some sort to do this on, and if you want to learn how to consecrate that and some more thoughts behind it, you can hear about that in the video link below. Then next you will need some blue flannel. Blue is the color that is associated with the sphere of Jupiter, which is the planet that we'll be using in this, and for that reason we will be using three blue taper candles, blue liquid chalk marker. We will be using herbs of Jupiter planetary correspondence. So in this case I've got agrimony and hyssop and a balm of Gilead, and of course you can use any herb of planetary correspondence associated with Jupiter. Now you will find that there is some departure here from the herbal correspondences between African American hoodoo and the grimoires, but because we're working planetary magic, I invite you to stick to the correspondences given in the grimoires, and that will allow you to infuse or ensolve the influences of that sphere into the work more easily, right? So in addition to that, you will need some Jupiter oil, Jupiter gemstones. It's easy to find. You get that at your local New Age shop. You will also need the table of Jupiter, which is a magic square that has 4 cells. 4 is the number of Jupiter, and this Kabbalistic square is therefore, this is used in a couple of ways. It's a talismanic device in its own right, but it's also used to generate the sigils and the seals that are associated with Jupiter. But we will be incorporating this and using this as a kind of petition paper. So we've got the table of Jupiter, we've got the amethyst. I also want you to use some money. It's good to include money in this because like attracts like, and this is a money mojo, so we're going to add some money to that, right? And to that end, I have decided to use $4. I've got two $2 bills. $2 bills, of course, are very lucky in African American hoodoo, and 4 again is the number of Jupiter. So we've got that planetary resonance with the number included, and that's going to be useful. As much as possible, we want to try and keep those correspondences in the work that will allow us to call on and infuse spirits and the angels of that planet more effectively. Then, of course, you will need a censer and a charcoal disc. Some holy water is a good idea. Once you've prepared all of this, you will inscribe what I'm referring to as the triangle of Jupiter. On the tablet of lights, the triangle of Jupiter is just a basic diagram used for this spell, and it includes at the top the holy name that rules the sphere of Jupiter, which is L, and on the bottom right we've got the angel of Jupiter, or the intelligence of Jupiter, Yophiel, and then on the bottom left we've got the spirit of Jupiter sigil inscribed, and that's Hismael. And the reason we call on these three aspects of the sphere of Jupiter, one being the holy name, the angel, and the spirit, is that each serves a particular function that allows us to draw the influences of Jupiter down into the material plane and manifest what we want, which is in this case is wealth, right? And the one of the things that is interesting to note about the spirit and the angel of Jupiter is that the spirit of Jupiter could be understood as the raw force of the planet. That is the unstructured power to manifest the qualities of that planet. And we always tend to invoke that raw force, that spirit, under the influence and the authority of the intelligence, which is Yophiel. And the intelligence is kind of the structuring principle or the patterning principle that allows that power to be directed in a healthy and constructive way and in a contained way without invoking the intelligence, the angelic intelligence of that sphere, and the holy name of the sphere, which is the most divine aspect of the sphere. When we are working with the spirit, that spirit's energy might manifest in an undirected way and in a way that would be unpredictable. So it's a good idea to always include the sigil and the name of the intelligence, the angel of that sphere, in any work that calls on the spirit of the sphere, simply because we want to be able to direct and structure that power in a productive way that will be useful for creating what we want and won't have any unpredictable outcomes. Once we've done that, we will dress the candles with some Jupiter oil. You can inscribe the name, the holy name, the name of the intelligence, the name of the spirit on the candle, and then we will set these candles on the tablet of lights on the respective sigils and of the beings in question, like so. Then next we will proceed to write our petition on the table of Jupiter, remembering to be precise but concise, and then we will follow that petition. You will include a personal concern of yourself, so some sort of link, which would, in this case, since it's a work for yourself, you can use some hair from your head, and we will take the amethyst, we will take some herbal material, we will take the money, the $4, we will fold this up into the blue flannel, and we will tie it into a Mojo bag. Once the Mojo bag has been tied, we will knot it with 4 knots, again because 4 is the number of Jupiter. It's a sacred number associated with the sphere, which is why the table of Jupiter, the magic square, has 4 by 4 cells. And then once that has been tied, you can place it in the center of the triangle on the seal of Jupiter, which has been inscribed also on the tablet in the center of this seal. Then once everything is prepared and ready, we are now ready to invoke and consecrate this Mojo bag, this Kabbalistic Solomonic Mojo bag, under the aegis and under the power of the holy name, the intelligence, and the spirit of Jupiter. You will light your charcoal disc, you will say the exorcism of the fire, you will do the consecration of the tablet using your holy water, you will consecrate the candles using the holy water, and then once everything, all the preliminary consecrations have been done, you are now ready to complete this consecration process, to complete the spell, as it were, by invoking the spirits and the angels of Jupiter. And that is done by placing some planetary incense on the censer, and as that incense rises, the invocation of the holy name for the sphere is said. Then candle at the tip of at the apex of the triangle is lit. That is the candle associated with the holy name that rules the sphere, the holy name of El. The bottom right candle is lit with an invocation to the intelligence of the sphere, Yophiel. And then the bottom left hand candle is lit, said with an invocation to the spirit of the sphere, Hismael. Then you will take up the Mojo bag, you will take it in your hands, and you will recite your petition to the angels and the spirits of the sphere. And as you do that, you place some more incense on the burner, and you pass that Mojo bag through the incense, getting smoke so that it's infused and fumigated with the incense, that planetary incense that will infuse it with the Jupiterian influence yet further. And you can say appropriate psalms, Jupiterian psalms. And finally, you will dress it with some planetary oil and place it back in the center of the triangle. You will then leave the confection to burn down. And then when it's all burnt down, you will return back to the tablet of lights. You will say a brief dismissal to the spirits. And then your Mojo bag is ready to be used and having been fully consecrated under the aegis of these spirits. Then it's a good idea to take care of your Kabbalistic Mojo bag by feeding it planetary oil, at least I would say once a week, and to do so in the hour that governs this planet. And again, this entire spell will have been performed in the hour of Jupiter, and preferably on the day of Jupiter, which is Thursday. Similarly, this Mojo bag then should be fed in the hour of Jupiter at least once a week, but you could do it daily, of course. And then you would keep the bag with you, and so that its purpose, until its purpose is manifest. So the beauty of this technique, of course, is that because it is a planetary work and there are multiple associations or practical possible outcomes for any given planet. So for example, Jupiter is most famously well known for money magic, for wealth, for increasing abundance and expansion in your life. But it's also connected to reconciliation. Traditionally, Agrippa mentions that it's used to reconcile enemies. Jupiter is associated with the dissolving of enchantments. And this is an area where you will see some of the herbal symbolism dovetailing with traditional Solomonic symbolism, because Jupiterian herbs such as agrimony and hyssop are typically used as cleansing agents in African American hoodoo. Right, so we see some connection there, because Jupiter can in fact be invoked to dissolve enchantments, which is to say to break spells and works that have been done against the magician. And then of course Jupiter can be invoked to raise your status, to get promotions, to become famous. So as you can see, there are lots of different aspects to each of the planets, and this makes it a very versatile work. You can create a Mojo bag under the aegis of the planet that is focused not necessarily on wealth magic, but maybe to as an uncrossing bag, or maybe as a reconciliation bag, or maybe to get a promotion, right? Anything that is correspondence with the planetary influence. Now, of course, the formula that I have given you here is very easily adapted to any of the planets, and that is simply done by changing the color of the flannel that you use for the bag, the color of the marker, the color of the candles to correspond with the color of the sphere, and the herbal correspondence is the gemstone and the tablet and so on, the magic square and so on, to correspond with the sphere that you've chosen. So for example, if you are doing some sort of aggressive magic using Mars, then you would this would all be substituted for red, and martial herbs, a martial stone, and the table of Mars, and so on, to have that effect. Now, I have created a PDF bundle containing this entire spell formula, from beginning to end, with all the invocations, all the consecrations, everything that you need to perform the entire spell, along with some herbal correspondences and so on for each of the planets. So if you want to do a Saturn bag, then there you would be able to open up the Saturn PDF, print it out, and then just follow along step by step and so on. If you want to do a love bag, say using Venus, you would just print out the Venus PDF and just follow along in there. It includes all the sigils, all the diagrams, the magic square, herbal correspondences, invocations, all in a step-by-step format that's very easy to follow, along with some cool bonus material that I haven't shared in the video that you might find even more useful. So there you go, a Kabbalistic Mojo bag. I trust that you found that useful and interesting. Remember to subscribe, and thank you for watching.